Hello. I just went out for a sneaky wafer of Polish chocolate, and it didn't exist. I was so disappointed. And on the way, and in the rain, I bumped into two people who recognized me, and it's a very strange experience. And it started when I came off the Channel 4 show The Circle, and it seems to have got that much more um, entertaining and exciting, and with people who recognize me from YouTube. So I'm incredibly grateful. So if you do see me, do stop me, and and we'll have a chat, because I learn so much more by talking to other people, I find, and I like that interchange, and I don't get enough of it, I think. Maybe so I'm very grateful. And the first person I spoke to was a shop steward, and or he had been a shop steward, and he's done a lot of traveling, and he was so exciting. And and he said, well, you're obviously a conservative with a small c. That's that's unlike the conservative with a large c, which I suppose would be Mr. Hunt. But anyway, the second person also introduced some slightly naughty ideas in my mind, and we were talking about Nadine Dorries and Liz Truss, and he said, "Well, they're interchangeable. They're both Venksteins." And I had to say, "Well, what's a Venkstein?" And he said, "Oh, with a W." And I thought, well, I'm not very good at this. I'm not very good at mental arithmetic, and I'm not very good at mental spelling. I have to write things down. I'm very visual. I like to be able to see something. So I got my pad out. I carry it in my pocket generally, and I wrote it down. He says, "Oh, AIN." I thought, this is so rude and so naughty of Venkstein, but it's a word I think I'm going to use because it's so clever, and it does sum up Liz Truss, with all her hand action, not only hand action but product, and that frankly needs washing and putting away, and that's exactly what how I think of Liz Truss. I think a Venkstein, and and a Venkstein was hardly surprising given her economic dalliance with kwasi Kwateng. It was heading for disaster, a celebration of onanistic vigor, a self-indulgence, emission. She soaked the lettuce, a Venkstein, the lettuce that in my mind is interchangeable with Dmitry Medvedev's rather soggy handshake, the action, the product, the politics of Liz Truss, the lingering smile of regret, the hope that we'll have her back. No, 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 it's not a. I'll burn the sheets. No, we'll never have her back, I hope. We'll never have her back. But I am so grateful for being stopped in the street, and I'm so grateful to Alex for the chat about my cat. And Bay died about a month ago. About a month ago, and I think it will be a month this coming Monday. And it seems like only yesterday. And every so often, I think I hear him. And yesterday, I was so tired after having done sort of doctory things in the morning in the hospital. Was it yesterday or was it the day before? Anyway, I'm so tired, and I fell asleep watching a few minutes of television, probably watching Liz Truss, and while I was asleep, I was quite sure I woke up twice, having heard someone call my name and having heard Bay, and no one was there to call my name. No one had called my name, and I think I think you what when you hear your name, you think, are you doing everything right? Maybe I'm not doing everything right. And so I really am grateful when people stop me in the street and tell me what I should be doing. And this man Alex told me, you should be doing a one man show. You should be getting out and doing an evening with Tim. Well, yeah, but would anybody come? And and it's all rather alarming thinking about these things. But I do I promise, yes, I do miss the theatre, and I certainly miss that rapport with an audience. And maybe Alex is right, and um, I miss the naughtiness of audience participation. I miss the naughtiness of interaction with people. I think that's and I think that's something that one of the things we were talking about was the collapse of political debate and the assumption that everybody is fits into a particular category. Well, most of us don't fit into a category. Most of us are sliding around a scale. And one of the things I remember bumping into for the first time, I remember bumping into Piers Corbyn for the first time, and I remember thinking that there is a man who I can get on with, and we don't share very many political similarities, but we have a lot of interest in the same areas, and I was quite excited by that, and that was a few years ago now, and I find each time I meet people who I assume I don't with whom I assume I don't have any form of political allegiance, I find we often have such wonderful conversations. And while I've tried to recreate that journey and uh, that discovery on YouTube, I find so often I get into trouble, and people assume that I'm a woke lefty, which I'm not. I'm not. But do I have woke lefty ideas? Of course I do. And it's all about trading information, which is why I so much enjoy the comments section. So please keep the comments going, and please, as I say, stop me in the street and introduce me to new words and new ideas. And the least that can happen is we will have a giggle, but the most that can happen is that our minds will be open to new ideas, and that's what we need. We need our minds opening, particularly at these dark and miserable times.